Hey everybody, James again here to talk about, I guess Dyssynergistic defecation, Anismus, Levitor syndrome. Um, all of these are kind of very similar in the way that the conditions present themselves, but I kind of wanted to give more input as far as like the different. I call them weapons of war, right? You are waging war on a chronic condition. Now, a lot of people do get on the other side of this, right? I'm still struggling myself. I'm pretty active in Reddit, on Facebook. We also have a Discord channel, and we talk about these things, right? Um, and so I wanted to kind of cover a lot of bases, but also like kind of tell you the things that I've been trying, and ultimately what's slowly, very slowly, working for me. Now, the first thing I wanted to say is that if you're watching this video, the pain and discomfort is not in your head. I know initially when I was dealing with this, I was told it was hemorrhoids, right? And went to a GI, and they kind of gaslit me, right? Said, continue doing the stuff that you do, and hopefully it'll kind of resolve itself. Well, obviously I didn't like that answer, and so I kind of spoke up for myself. Ended up going to a second GI for another opinion, and that's where it ended up going down the path of, well, basically figuring out that I had dyssynergistic defecation, or I had procured this condition, right? And so, um, going on 2 years now. Yeah, almost 2 years. Where I've been fighting with this. I guess it has been 2 years technically when all the symptoms started. But when I came back from deployment, that's when they found out these things, and it took me like 6 months to figure it out. So I just wanted to say, it's not in your head, right? What you're feeling is real, and it's figuring out why you're feeling it and how to either cope with it or fix it, right? Second thing, a lot of people out there, they doom scroll and they catastrophize and they throw this stuff up on Reddit or Facebook. I know, like, a couple of the Facebook groups I'm in, like, some people just post dozens of times, right, asking the same questions that all of us have asked themselves. And it's not helpful. It does not help you. Nobody can help you if you just keep posting about the things that you're experiencing, right? And all that to say, you're making it worse by focusing so much of your effort on it. Now, yes, I get it. It is incredibly hard to ignore the symptoms, right? I have days where, like, that's all that's going through my head. You can ask my wife. I'm just miserable. I'm cranky. I just don't feel good. I just kind of want to, like, exist or get to the next day, so hopefully I can feel better. But just throwing this stuff out there and just constantly posting about it and constantly asking questions, like, nobody there is no quick fix, right? The only thing you can do is to combat the symptoms that you're feeling and figuring out a way for you to cope with them. Everybody is completely different things work for different people. Everybody's biomechanical, whatever's going on inside of them, certain things work for certain people, whereas they don't work for other people. So that brings me to the first set of weapons, right? Medications. So if you go to a GI and they find out you have dyssynergistic defecation, generally speaking, they're going to send you to physical therapy, right? Dyssynergistic defecation is typically a combination of muscular and, like, mental, right? Either something in your brain is disconnected from your gut and you're not getting signals, or your body's not fully relaxing and it's trying, like, you have to figure out why your body's not relaxing. And so the PT will help you do, like, breathing exercises, that sort of stuff. There's a lot of videos of that. The only thing the GI can do for you is to provide you medication. Now, they can recommend you for a colorectal surgeon to basically get a bypass, and that will bypass the rectal muscles, because pretty much it's going to take your rectum out of the situation. But that's only in extreme circumstances, right? So even if you're okay, like me, I've come to terms, like, if this keeps on going, one day I might end up with a bag. And that comes with its own problems, right? So that is all the GI can do for you. I'm just putting that out there because a lot of people will tell you, like, hey, go get a diagnosis through the GI, because they're the ones that are going to send you to the hospital or whatever to do stuff like anorectal manometry. You need to do, like, what's the other one? The balloon test, like see if you can expel a balloon. I know it as biofeedback therapy, but I know there's like another word for it. So I had to get multiple tests done, and that's how they've come to my situation. So as far as medication goes, so I'm going to try to cover up as best I can. So first thing we have is polyethylene glycol, otherwise known as Miralax. This is an osmotic laxative, just like Linzess. I didn't bring it down, but Trulance, and I forget what the other one. Anything that's like linaclotide, linaclotide. So like Linzess, right? It says linaclotide there on the side. Those are going to be osmotic laxatives. Now, the purpose of these is to keep your stool soft. That's all they do. They're not going to force you to go unless it's causing diarrhea, which generally speaking, when you start Linzess or Trulance and stuff like that, at first, it is going to cause diarrhea. Just putting that out there. But the whole purpose of this stuff is to keep water within your intestines, so that way when food and stuff enters, it's going to stay soft and then transit easier. So it helps you to go. That way when it actually hits the end, right, your rectal wall, which is going to cause the signal to say, hey, I have to go poop, you're not fighting against the fact that it's hard stuff, right? So a lot of constipation and stuff is because the stool is sitting in your intestines so long that it's dragging all the water out of the stool that causes it to be like basically like hard lumps. And then it's going to transit down. Generally it's going to get slower, right? Because the harder it gets, the harder your body has to like push it through until it gets to the end. So that is literally what the GI is going to help you do. Now, if you have the diarrhea side of things, that's kind of, I don't have much experience in that, but they're going to give you stuff to slow the transit of your gut. But either way, if you have IBS-C or IBS-D, that can help cause the pelvic floor dysfunction that you're feeling or dealing with, right? So me, 20 something years of being told I have IBS-C, there's nothing we can do for you, here's some medication. Now I've got dyssynergistic defecation as a result of the constipation, but also I think all this stems back to sexual abuse in my past, right? So all that to say, all of this stuff was started at a certain point, and going back and figuring out when it started can help you to kind of cope mentally with the stuff. So those are the osmotic laxatives. Now, obviously, we have stuff like Dulcolax, and this is the stuff I got in Greece when I was there, still sitting in my cabinet. Not good for dyssynergistic defecation, but if you're having a really, really rough time and you literally have tried everything to get stuff out, it's good to have on hand just so that way you can get stuff moving. Now, the day-to-day stuff, so Movicol is also, let me flip it out. Movicol is also another version of Miralax or polyethylene glycol. I like Movicol because it has a lot of extra stuff in it to help you retain electrolytes. So one thing to note, osmotic laxatives can cause you to basically start having dizziness symptoms, stuff like that, more or less like dehydration. That's probably the best way to put it. So you want to drink a lot of water while you're on these, but Movicol is really good, though. I prefer to take this. It's just a little packet I put in a water bottle, but like if I've been having a rough few days and I need to get stuff moving, I'll put some of this in some water before I take my Linzess. So helps out, but again, it's another osmotic laxative. Then we have stuff like calm gummies. So if you can get by just taking stuff like magnesium citrate gummies, things like that, please do. Do not resort to the osmotic laxatives if at all possible. You want to take the lowest possible thing that you can take to get your body going. Best thing to do is just fiber and water, but I get it. I'm with you. That's why I take like osmotic laxatives, right? And it could be your diet. It could be a lot of different stuff. But so gummies, always a good thing to have on hand. I take these occasionally. These do not work for me to move my bowels. However, they do help me sleep, and they provide magnesium, which generally a lot of people are lower on, but can help with some other stuff. And then last but not least, we'll talk about fiber. So this is Metamucil, basically the off-brand Metamucil, right? And so fiber is very good, right? So the whole purpose of fiber is that fiber soaks up water, and it's going to help to not only form your stools, but also to help retain that water. So you have two different types. You have soluble fiber or insoluble fiber. I believe Metamucil is insoluble fiber. No, this one, insoluble fiber. So insoluble fiber is going to help you to move your bowels and keep things soft. Soluble fiber, on the other hand, is going to bulk out the stools and make it bigger. So if you're having problems where like you can't feel things, you could try like lower doses of soluble fiber to bulk it out and see if it's just like the shape of the stool that you're not feeling. Or you could take the insoluble fiber if you're trying to slowly wean yourself off of osmotic laxatives. Now, me, I take a high dose of Linzess every day, and I was working my way backwards, and then I hit a basically I call it a stalling point, where my body basically revolted on me, and now I'm back to having bad symptoms. So like, it's trial and error, guys. Like, you're not going to fix this overnight, and you'll have to go through a bunch of steps, and I am way better than that first video I posted, I think almost a year ago. So fiber powder. So these are some of the medication tools that you can use. There's stool softeners. I don't take those. That, again, whole purpose is to keep your stool soft. So the reason why you want to keep your stool soft, all of us are dealing with some form of the ability to expel the stool, right? Whether it be you can't sense it or whatever it might be. This will help you, so that way if your muscles aren't relaxing all the way, you can, if anything, kind of force a bit out, and then hopefully like it'll gradually open up. That's what a lot of us hope will happen. Me, sadly, I kind of alternate between having diarrhea all the time to like, hey, I can't go at all. So I'm still working through that through the medication. So that's the first thing. So medication, I don't have like a list of things that I'm going down, guys. I'm just kind of spitballing here. So the second thing, so after you have your diagnosis, you figure out medication with your GI, right? Pelvic floor physical therapy. So incredibly important. So, actually, hold on. Let me run and grab something real quick. Forgot to grab this. Okay. All right. So you want to find a really good pelvic floor physical therapist. They know a lot of basics, but they're going to tailor, or they should tailor, your therapy to what you are causing. So my physical therapist, her name's Shelby, fantastic lady. She helped me. It took a while. It took us like a good 4 or 5 months to isolate it down to a lot of my symptoms are on the left side of my pelvis, and so we figured out that the obturus internus was like the main muscle that was like misfiring and causing a lot of my discomfort. So I kind of like isolated that, and I was working really hard on it. We got it to the point that basically I had a real bad episode the other day, but it's been about 8 months since the last time I've had such a horrible episode to where like I couldn't sleep. So like the other day I had a hard time sleeping. For me, I also take muscle relaxers. That helps like if I'm having a hard night and I've done my physical therapy and things are still like kind of tight down there. They help me get to sleep, if anything. But, so your physical therapist hopefully will help you go through, and you're going to find, and they should help you isolate down and, like, figure out a bunch of exercises that you should do at home. So me, I actually bought, my wife bought one of these little physical therapy tables in the other room that I use, and so you're going to go through these routines that they give you. Highly encourage you go through the routines, right? And then kind of tailor it to what you're seeing or what symptoms you're experiencing. So me, I have back problems as well. I have 3 discs on my back that are herniated. So as I was going through, I found, oh, hey, I'm getting like tingling in my legs and stuff like that. So she would like tailor my stuff to that. The next thing, and your physical therapist should highly advise you to get some of these things. So these are sex toys technically, but these are very, very good for these problems in particular. So first thing is a pelvic floor wand. Now, these are really important to have because these are basically trigger point, like 2 fine trigger points in the rectal or vaginal area. If you're a girl, obviously you're going to want 2 if you're a girl, but but the whole idea is to basically use this end, figure out where your trigger points are, and basically push on them to get the muscle to release. It is going to be very painful. It's going to be very uncomfortable. The goal is not to hurt yourself. If you're holding it there for like a minute and it's just not releasing, you need to move on to somewhere else and then come back and see if it's gradually loosening up. I use the Intimate Rose brand. They're based out of Kansas City, which is not too far from where I'm at. But fantastic company, really, really good products. Obviously, buy some sort of lubricant because you need a lot of lubricant whenever you're doing this stuff. I just buy stuff off Amazon, water-based, right? Yeah, it's water-based, not silicone-based. So this is like number one tool if you're dealing with stuff like pain, trigger point release, that sort of thing. I was really intimidated by this tool at first. Just like most males, I'm like, why am I going to stick something up there? Like that's weird, right? However, this thing has helped me through thick and thin. I do pack it anytime I go on travel because, like, when you're sitting for a long time, like, your pelvic floor will get tight. And our pelvic floors are misfiring, right? So they don't loosen up after a time. So sometimes you have to help it. So really, really good tool to have. The second set of tools that you might want to get, dilation tools. So again, I used Intimate Rose, but they have a set pack where you can buy 4 of basically 2 different sizes, and like you're gonna work your way through the sizes all the way up. Again, these are sex toys, so people use them for various things, but for our purposes, what you're trying to do is basically get the rectal area to not only open up, but it's also to try to release the wall muscles, and hopefully you get to the point where putting that in can stimulate a bowel movement sometimes. I've had times where I put it in and it's like, oh, hey, I gotta go, right? It also helps you to practice, right? So a lot of physical therapists are gonna have you practice on a toilet or over a toilet. This is a way to practice with something there, so that way, like, when you're pushing, you have like almost a measurement of like, oh, can I push this out, sort of thing. Because like for me, I was pushing with the wrong muscles down there, which was causing tightness. So now I've kind of learned to move up into my abdomen and push out. So, which has been very helpful. I'm still obviously struggling. Now, last thing, so you have your pelvic floor exercises, right? You've got your wands, your dilators. You're going through all these things, right? It's gonna take a lot of time of your day. Trust me, it's gonna take a very, very long time, especially when you're doing like 15 minutes of dilation, 10 minutes of wand therapy, and then you have to do whatever exercises they give you for however many minutes. What I did, I found that if you put all of the exercises into Chat GPT with the wand, with the dilators and all of that stuff, and have it build you a schedule, it will actually break out. So like here, like oh wait, that's the wrong side. So like day 1 of every week, it wants me to do diaphragmatic breathing, rectal dilation, stretching for 10 minutes, 2 minutes of different types of exercises. So that way it breaks it down to like a 30-minute thing, as opposed to doing it for like an hour and a half plus, right? Granted, once I got into like my flare-up phase, I've had to kind of step back from this and do like basically dilation and wand therapy almost every day. But again, you're dealing with the symptoms of your condition. You're trying to solve it, but the big thing that you're struggling with is the symptoms. So combat them in whatever way seems fit. So all that to say, I can give you like my daily routine just to kind of help you out, right? So what I do first thing in the morning, wake up, I take my Linzess first thing with whatever pills, because I have like GERD and some other stuff, right? So I take my pills, down with some big jug of water. I think I drink like 32 ounces of water pretty much in like the first 30 minutes of my day. And then I go to work, right? On my way to work, I'll stop, get a large coffee, and then and whatever I want for breakfast, unless I take something with me. On my way to work, I'll start drinking my coffee and eat my breakfast. Usually within the hour and a half or so, I'll have a movement. Sometimes it might take a little longer, sometimes a little less. Just kind of depends on how it hits me for the day. If I don't have anything happen by like 10 in the morning, then I know for that day I'm probably not going to have something coming through. That could be a variety of reasons. It could be what I ate the previous day or 2 days prior, right? It could be the amount of fiber intake I had. It could be a lot of different stuff. It could be something that just didn't disagree with me. And so one thing I've gotten into my head is don't catastrophize, right? If I do not go for that day, it is not the end of the world. What I need to do is monitor and see how my body's feeling and then respond to my body. So I'll respond equally. There's days where I don't go and I feel perfectly fine, or I might feel a little tight, and so I'll go home and do some pelvic floor physical therapy and I'm fine. There are days where the pain will slowly start creeping up, and then that's where you need to figure out whether or not it's muscular or if it's something sitting there. In my case, generally it's muscular, and I can tell pretty quickly whether or not it is. However, there are times where I don't know. And so to help me through those times, I'll either take a glycerin suppository. Those help me quite a bit. Or if like you want real extreme, then you could take a real saline enema or a hot water enema. And so I'll kind of use those as I need to. I prefer not to. I prefer to, if my body doesn't go, I just would rather it relax, because like there's a lot of people who don't go for 2-3 days at a time, right? And our body is over responding to the fact that there might be a little bit of stool sitting there or something. So you need to get it like used to, like, hey, it's okay. Like it'll get through when it gets through, right? And so some days it might take me 2 or 3 days to have a bowel movement as long as I'm not using my enemas, you know. And so that's probably the biggest hurdle to get through the mental part. And then usually if I do have a bowel movement in the morning, I'm usually pretty good. I'll still do my physical therapy at home, and then just kind of see how I feel by bedtime. There are some nights where I still have pain down there, and that's because, again, it's your muscles misfiring. Like, realizing the fact that it's not because I didn't go poop, it's because the muscles there are just not doing what they should. Your floor should be relaxed. It should be like a bowl that's sitting there, right? And then as the stool comes down and hits it, then it opens up to drop the stuff out. Our bodies aren't doing that. Our bodies are like this all the time, just so tight. And then something gets there, and then our body's not getting the signal to go, and then that just causes irritation and pain and discomfort. And so figuring out why your body is doing that is a big part of this. And so I know there are people who've gotten through this. I'm one that is still on my journey, but I wanted to provide you guys some stuff that I use to help out. You know, obviously this can cost a lot of money, you know, but your health is worth it, and you are worth it. So, like, you know, hey, sorry you can't buy the video game for this month, but buy a set of these, buy a wand or something like that, you know, because these are like one-time purchases. Like, they don't really break down, and you can use them. I've had this set for over a year, and so, you know, and it's super intimidating. So trust me, I was there too. But you know, there's only one way to get better, and that's to keep at it, figure out what works, and then just keep at it, right? This is not a short thing. And that's probably the biggest point I need to make out of this whole video. You can get there, you will get there, but it'll take some time. And hopefully you guys have somebody to talk to, somebody to vent to, right? Because it is frustrating. My wife is like a saint, because she listens to me, and she empathizes with the fact of what I'm dealing with. She doesn't quite understand it, she doesn't get it, but she empathizes. So hopefully you guys have a mom, dad, spouse, partner, somebody who's there just to bend their ear, right? And hopefully I don't try to fix it for you, because obviously if we could fix this easily, we would, right? So yeah. Oh, and I should probably talk about the anxiety part of it. So I've seen a lot of this is that a lot of people put out there, oh yeah, fix your anxiety and depression and stuff like that, and it'll slowly go away. It's not quite that easy, right? I am a very unanxious person. Generally, I was not anxious at all. I didn't have panic attacks, none of that stuff, and I was still dealing with this. When all this started, I started experiencing anxiety and panic attacks and depression and all of the things that people talk about, right? And so I've gotten to the point where I'm okay, right? I don't catastrophize. I don't sit there and Google foo. I don't post about it. I do post to try to help people, but, you know, you just got to learn to be okay with it. And again, when the symptoms come, it's okay to complain. It's okay to vent about it, right? It's okay to vent about your experiences and things like that. But just getting on the other side of it and managing your anxiety and things will not cause it to go away if it is actually something physically wrong with you. Our bodies, they maintain that state of anxiety and stress even when you're not anxious and stressed, right? It's what do they call it? I forget what they call it. Like, basically muscle memory, right? So even if you've tangled with your depression, your anxiety, and you feel okay most days, and like you're on medication or whatever it might be, your body still might be tight. Your body still might, I mean, again, I think all mine stemmed from sexual abuse over it's almost 30 years ago, right? It is over 30 years now. And I'm okay talking about it. I'm okay. I'm on the other side of all that stuff. Just because I'm on the other side of all that stuff, my body still is maintaining that memory of that situation or the trauma that was there, right? And so trying to unpack that trauma, it's going to take time. Just like when you're sitting there with a therapist and you're talking about stuff, you don't get okay after one therapy session, right? You get okay by seeing the therapist, dealing with the things that you're dealing with, and eventually you get to a point where like you deal with it, right? Internally, you process it, you get to the other side of it, and so then you feel like a better person. And again, wisdom, you get more wisdom. So but anyways, yeah, I know I can ramble for a while, but hopefully this helps somebody out there. Hopefully you can use some of these tools on your journey. And so obviously you guys can leave a comment in the video or whatever. I'll respond as appropriate. But I'll continue my journey, but I'm here for you guys too. So talk to you later.